these numbers, can you justify a 2% bounce at the open on the back of those?
It is a very good set of numbers, and if we have a look at BHP, it's really still pushing to increase producing at a time when it's also lowering costs. So I guess the outlook for BHP quite bright as well. If we have a look at iron ore, that's coming at a record. I think the market expectations were around 43 million tonnes, and they actually came in at 47.6 million tonnes. So iron ore was a beat compared to market expectations. Oil was a bit on the softer side. I think market expectations were around 63.2. It actually came in at 59.1, so slightly below BHP's full-year forecast of 240 million barrels of oil equivalent, the full-year number coming in at 235 million barrels of oil equivalent, but copper did see a 10% jump. Metallurgical coal was also a 17% jump. So altogether, a pretty good set of results coming through from BHP Billiton. The shares looking like they're going to open up around about 2% on the back of these results. And of course, Rio Tinto having a good night in London last night as well.
Evan.
The production result was a record. However, in terms of full-year profit, when BHP comes out with numbers in August, the market's still expecting to see a slowdown in profit. We're actually expecting profit to decrease by around about 20%, and that's because of the falling commodity prices that we've seen in the last year. So the production side is remaining strong at a time when we are seeing costs increasing. But remembering over the past year, we have seen lower commodity prices. If we have a look at the ramp-up in BHP, the oil and gas side is going to expand quite quickly, but so is the iron ore. It's getting close to a 200 million tonnes per annum run rate, and it's probably going to push that to 220 million tonnes per annum by next year. It looks like Jumble Bar, the iron ore mine, is going to come on ahead of schedule, so that will be the end of 2013, and costs there have been rising. They're $340 million above schedule, and it looks like those costs will be offset from other areas within their budget, but it does look like the cost side of things is still a difficult thing. So altogether, a great production report coming through from BHP Billiton, another record production result, but in terms of profitability, we're still expecting profitability to go backwards, and that's because of the weakness in commodity prices.
Is that, in a sense, why you saw JP Morgan, you think, overnight raise the price target but remain neutral?
If we have a look at BHP, I mean, at these prices, we've seen a bounce of technical levels, $30 to $31, so it does look like the short-term target's going to be $36. So we're pretty close to that mark at the moment. However, longer term, it's really about this China adjustment that's happening. We have seen second quarter GDP numbers, and although they came in on expectations at 7.5% at an annualized rate, it was still a slowdown from the first quarter, and certainly a slowdown from a few years ago where we were seeing double-digit growth rates. So still watching some stabilisation in China to help out with these miners, but I think that story is starting to be priced into BHP Billiton as well as Rio Tinto, and it looks like technically the share's looking pretty good at this stage.
So what more do you need to know about today's session outside of a couple of stocks like BHP and Billabong? Are we actually expecting much action today?
Well, today is all about Ben Bernanke, and that speech will be released to the media. So it is a pre-prepared speech, and that will be released to the media in 20 minutes' time at 10:30 a.m. In Australian time, Eastern Standard Time. So we'll be watching that very closely, and then the actual testimony to the House of Representatives occurs at midday Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be an exciting one, and of course it's all going to be around tapering. We didn't see much of a pattern coming through in the way different asset markets performed overnight. Wall Street, we did see a weaker lead there. It broke 8 sessions worth of gains, so it's been a pretty good run of wins there for the US stock market. And of course, we're just really watching earnings. We saw Goldman Sachs coming out with a stellar report, mostly on the investment and loan side, so it looks like that's mostly on the trading side. Coca-Cola, though, disappointing because of European sales, and we also saw Yahoo missing on the revenue line, so its shares actually trading down after hours. But I don't think the market's really going to be paying too much attention to earnings until after Ben Bernanke's speech. So we're going to be watching his views on tapering of quantitative easing.